Hi everyone, today we will be learning tricks about how to double the numbers and also how to halve the numbers easily. So first of all, if you are new to my channel, do hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon. Now let's get started. What is doubling? Doubling is as easy as saying I have 10 apples and I will add 10 more apples. This is as short as it can get, and that will become 20. Now half of the same scenario where I have 10 apples and I say I have given 10 half of that to my neighbor. So half of that will give me 5. So now let's actually look at this and how to do this into a more detail. So doubling, let's look at doubling first. Now let's, for example, I say I have 100 rupees and I want to double this. So the first trick to do this is simply adding the two values together. So 100 plus 100 is my double because 100 is my double of 100. Now second way of doing this is simply, let's say I want to multiply this by 2. 2 will be basically is represented as my double of 100. Now third way of doing this, I simply just say I want to basically double this and I can do this by 2 into 100, which will still give me the answer to my double, which is 200. Now let's look at the opposite of doubling, and it is called halving. Okay, so here we've taken the same number. Now we want to halve the 100. So one way of doing this is half of 100 is 50. So we'll basically minus 50 from 100. The second way of doing this is by dividing 100 into 2, which again will give us the same answer. Okay. Or the third trick is just to multiply 100 into 0.5. All of this will give us an answer of 50. Now let's say we have another example here and we have 870 instead of 100 and I want to double this. Okay, so the first way to do this is simply just, if you can do a mental math, and 870 plus 870, which will give us an answer of 1740. Now the second trick to do this is split 870 into 800 plus 800, so you get 1600. Now the remaining 70 which we have taken away from 870, we plus the 70 plus 70 and our answer would be 140. Now when we total this, when we add this together, 1640, our total is 1740 again. Now the third way of doing this is simply just multiply 800 by 2, which will give us 1600, and 70 into 140, or 70 multiply into 2, which will give us 140. So the total here again is 1740. Now you can do it the other way, where you can multiply 2 into 800, which will give you still 1600, and 2 into 70, which will still give you 140, and your total will still be 1740. Now let's look at another example so you can become a master of this. Now here, instead of taking a rounded number, we've taken a more complex number. So here we've taken 1432 and I want to double this. So we will apply the same method as what we have applied earlier. We will add 1432 plus 1432. Easily it would be 2864. Or we can simply split 1432 by splitting 1400, and adding another 1400, which will give us 2800. The remaining 32 which we have basically splitted, we do 32 plus 32, which will give us 64. Now the total of the both number to put together is 2864. Or we can simply, the third way of doing this is simply just multiply 1400 by 2, which will give you 2800, and the remaining 32 you multiply that by 2, which will give you 64. This is the way of doubling this in terms of multiplication. So total here will be 2864. Or we can do 2 times 1400 and 2 times 32, which will still give us the same total of 2864. Halving, as explained earlier, is opposite of doubling. So in this example, we have taken the same number as we did for doubling, but this time we will be using different trick to halve the numbers into 2. instead of doubling the numbers. So the first way of doing this is simply just say 870 divided by 2, which will give us a total which is 435. Or we can split this as like we did earlier. So we basically split the two numbers to make it more easier. So we basically take 800 first and we divide that into 2, which will give us a 400, and then with the remainder, the 70, we will basically divide that into 2, which will give us 35. Now we add these two numbers together and it becomes 435. Or we can basically simply just go ahead and half the number. Yep, so 800 minus 400 is equal to 400, and 70 minus 35, which is half of 70, which is again the answer is 35. The total is again 435. Now here we've taken 1432 and let's try to halve this number by using these same tricks, and let's see what results we get. So first we basically do 1400 and half of that is 1700. So we have split our 1432 into two parts. So first we are halving the 1400 into 700 and that will give us another 700. Now the remaining 32 we will halve that, so the answer will be 16. Now when we double that, our answer is 716. Another trick is by simply dividing 1432 by 2, which will also give us the same answer as 716. The third trick here is to split the numbers again. So first we will basically divide 1400 by 2, which will give us 700. And the second number, the remaining 32, we will divide that into 2, which will give us 16. So the total here is 716. Doubling and halving is as easy as that. Now I want you all to try this and let me know how you get on. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to my channel if you have not subscribed yet. See you in the next video with more maths and tricks.